Hello, Orange Dude here. I was going to share a little bit of what I've been doing for the Master Lost sectors because I have been luckily quite efficient with them. I've already gotten all the exotics except for the Hunter's Helmet, which have been very awesome to get on mostly first tries. I've noticed that if you do them fast, you seem to get the new exotics more often. At least that's what I've noticed. Um, I am using, for this lost sector, which is the one on the Earth, Exodus Garden, it's the master one. I found it most effective to use a grenade launcher for boss damage on honestly all the ones I've done so far that are master lost sectors, just because you can peek around the corner of wherever the boss is, shoot it, run away. And if there's a champion in there, they can either chase you or be complacent. Since these champions are going to be barrier where the boss is, I decided to opt for the barrier with the kinetic weapon. So I'm using an anti-barrier pulse rifle, and that's just my method here. Whenever I did the one on Europa, that was at this top area, which is the bunker E15. I did the one there, I used the method of a auto rifle with 7 Seraphs and making 7 Seraph cells and all that, and it was pretty efficient, but I found this one to be efficient no matter the weapons you choose. So if you wanted to choose something that was a little different than a grenade launcher or something, I would suggest a grenade launcher or something with instant damage like that. A high impact sniper, a grenade launcher, something you can do damage with without having to see the bosses hit crit spot is what I would really suggest. So grenade launcher, rocket launcher is your main damage. I'm using Lament so I can get in the champion's face once they're stunned, or stun them with Lament because of its perk. And then I'm using Reactive Pulse, Protective Light, and Empowered Finish, and Taking Charge. So these are to keep me alive. You don't have to use these. I highly suggest using Reactive Pulse for dealing with ads, and then charge the Protective Light for dealing with areas with low healing. So like this one has attrition as the master modifier, so I have to go pick up the healing things in the grounds, which means honestly I get really low on health a lot. So on all 3 characters I was just running this Protective Light, so that whenever I did get below that certain amount of health, I didn't take very much damage, at least for a little bit. It took reduced damage. So I would suggest it, using some of these ideas from your builds, but at least the biggest thing that I would say is using whatever weapon works for you for stunning the boss room champions, because those will be a big pain if you don't stun them or if they come after you, because then they'll just kill you every time. They'll nearly one-shot you in most scenarios. I will say the servitors in this boss room, they don't one-shot you, but they do quite a lot of damage. I wouldn't suggest getting too close to them. On most of the champions, though, are not going to do what these do at the end, and which is that they will actually make those things around them immune, and they kind of do it never-endingly. So I found it best to actually take care of the boss first, because they don't make the boss immune. For whatever reason, I'm very glad of that. There's the restorative light. Hopefully I found some. And so I kill the boss first, and then I clear out the room with supers, because supers actually make those immunities go away. And they also freeze the champions. Freezing the champions stops their abilities, which is actually really, really nice for dealing with them. Which is why I'm running Stasis for my builds. Also, I am running this sword because it heals while you still attack the champion. And I find that to be the most efficient way to take care of the champions. Wait for this guy to teleport. And sadly, I think he teleported away from me. So what I'm going to do is actually shatter these. one, if they shattered and he was close enough, then that would give him a stun, because the grenade actually doesn't always stun straight from the grenade. It usually stuns from the shattering of the glacier grenade. That's just how Bungie implemented it, I guess, and it's actually kind of nice. So sometimes you can just stand next to the grenade. I'm actually right here just gonna wait until I start at least healing back a bit, because if I stepped out right now, it'd probably be pretty bad. Hit him with that. Hope he gets hit. He didn't, so I'm gonna just stay here and shatter it every time he gets close. Another method is just to freeze him and then put the glacier grenade on top of him. So I did this earlier. It worked out fairly well. And then you wail on him like you just did. And then I would suggest always breaking those, because then you get the regeneration back, the ability and regeneration. Everything comes back faster. You don't have to go straight at this captain. You can kind of clear out these ads down here first, and often those guys. That's a bit of a pain. Of course, all of this will just apply to everything. Figure out where the enemies spawn, and that's half the challenge for the Master Rifle or these Masterless sectors. Just because of how tough everything hits, you want to just always find cover. And so that's really the biggest thing, is find cover where you can still hit the enemies, but still stun the champions and keep moving forward. So I got that guy killed, and thankfully every time I stun one I get another grenade. So I'm gonna go ahead and that's the immunity I didn't want to hit. So you see how those are all red tethered? Because of that, that means that they're immunity'd by the champion servitor, which is quite a bit of a pain. I've found the champion servitors be the most finicky, teleport into the weirdest places, and be the hardest to hit with Lament, which is why I run the pulse rifle in case they bubble in a spot that's off the ground. So in this case, because he makes everything immune for forever, I'm just going to go ahead and super here and have everything be shattering, and then kill this guy because he's really dangerous, and then go back and kill this guy while he's still broken. And then if he does that, wait for it, and you can use a finisher, use whatever you want. I use a finisher because my helmet helps me with it, or is helped by it. I would say use whatever exotic you want, but since you're on Stasis, there's not really exotic made for Stasis itself. There's exotics that do work while on Stasis, which I would suggest picking one of those. I mean, don't make sure your exotic is the most important thing of your build, is what I would say. I'm using mostly guns in here, honestly. I'm not really using any exotic perks too greatly, because focusing around them is just a little too much effort for my build. But aside from that, just pick off ads. As soon as you get the barricade servitor down, you can pick off the main one and go for the boss. I would suggest clearing out everything, not trying to continue on until you cleared out everything, because, well, one, it helps your score, so probably better loot. They haven't really said how much you're supposed to be at for the best loot, but I'm assuming bigger is better. But I wouldn't go too far into any of the boss rooms, because as you can see, they hurt a lot. I'm already almost done. This is why I run either auto rifle or pulse rifle, aside from a submachine gun or anything else, just because I can pick off from a distance. They won't fire a shot for the most part if they're that far away, unless they're a boss, and then they ignore everything you know about enemies. And I'm just 3 shots through, which is why I suggest having a high velocity. If you have a high velocity, it's a little bit easier to aim, and as you can see, they hit really, really hard. probably doesn't help that I didn't stay back very far, but I mean I have 7 revives at this point because I haven't died but once already. And so I can kind of take a hit here if I really want to just put out damage. So while you have the time, go ahead and let yourself be a little riskier. I would suggest still staying back, still finding cover. If it's your first time in the lost sector, I would suggest using that those revives to be either stockpiled or not while you have the time, because at 15 minutes you lose the ability to respawn entirely even if you have the revives. So I just got him down. I think it's probably because the void modifier is on, but in this scenario I can actually stun that servitor, and if I wanted to I could try to follow up on that, but he's kind of a bad spot for me to do max damage on him, considering my max damage is with Lament. If you're just running around, I would suggest pulling out whatever you're running as a heavy if it's a sword, just because you can shield and that lowers any kind of damage towards you significantly, and it doesn't really matter what kind of shielding you have on, it's going to be better than no shield. Usually you can get grenade launcher ammo to drop from any of the ads that come at you, just because Bungie's at least somewhat nice. Oh, and that didn't proc any of the lifesteal. Great. Didn't even hit him for some reason, but it is what it is. I would suggest killing all of these, and as soon as you get super, I would use it just because it works so efficiently. And oh, okay, because I didn't freeze these guys, actually. Because I didn't free the champions, I didn't actually lose the immunity for the enemies around it. So I might actually have to take these guys out the hard way. So if this happens, if this is what your pulse rifle is for, or whatever you're using to stun the champions in the boss room, if it's a barrier, try to shoot as soon as the barrier goes up, because otherwise it will get quite a bit of health before you can even get a shot. You can kind of see it ready itself. And I didn't mean to do that. And at this point, since I've run out of special ammo, I'm just going to use my... I will say the nice thing about the champions that have the barriers is they won't bubble themselves if you're not around. So I would suggest not just randomly shooting from a distance. As soon as you can see them, I would suggest getting in a good spot. Make sure you can take them out, and then fire, because then they're going to bubble up, like that. And please go down. Okay, so I'm going to go grab the special ammo, and if they'll go down, which they will do eventually, I have had these servitors go down to the level beneath them. Well, I pierced him, but that's great. Come on, bubble up. Some more special ammo. As you can see, he filled up his health all the way in that one little second. And then if you freeze them, they can't do anything. But they can do that apparently. I didn't know they could do that. That's kind of nice. Pretty much, when it comes to these guys, if you just wait it out, it's always better. and then go in for the finish whenever you need to, or whenever you can, really. I would always say make sure that there's no ads around if you're going in for a finish, because if they try to bubble up and there's ads there, it just makes everything harder, because then you can target onto the ones with ads with the sword instead of the boss. So I got that done just around 11 minutes, and it dropped the mask. So I am done with the grinding for all the new ones, and I'm very excited to try all of these exotics out. Anna, let's die. You can see how dangerous just even small ads like that is in these Master Nightfalls. So just finding cover in whatever room you're in is the main deal that you want to do. So hope this helped anybody who's trying to do these. I mean, I know the YouTubers can do it, but an average person can do it too. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of patience when it comes to learning how to go about it, because it's a little different from just clearing ads. I would consider this like the power level difference of doing their day one raid or whatever, if you've tried that. And if you haven't tried that, it would just pretty much be jumping into a Nightfall about 20 light levels below, and just consider it like that, because all the modifiers will make everything hurt just as if you were that power level difference, even if you're like I am 5 below the Master Nightfall, or the Master level difficulty. Because it's supposed to be 1280, I'm 1275, but everything still hits really, really hard. I mean, I'm pretty sure even if I was 1280, it would still hit really, really hard, just because of all the modifiers on it that you can see, as in attrition, solar, environmental damage taken, scorched earth, barrier, and then the champions just hurt a lot. So, good luck. Hope y'all can get it done. Hope y'all get the exotics and get to try them out. They seem all very, very awesome, even if that kind of looks disgusting. But good luck. Have a good day.